cause for concern.
The more you look, the more you find. And if you don't look, you won't find any. And that doesn't mean there's no impaired drivers.
An alarming number of crashes due to impaired driving and, more recently, winter weather. Plus, lace up.
I travel with my skates for moments like this, and I saw the opportunity and I just jumped on.
Windsor's new City Hall Square ice rink is open. And Google's top searches of 2025. From trends to headlines to public figures, what captured Canada's attention?
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us both on CTV Windsor and AM 800. We begin tonight with the effect of winter on the roadways. The frigid conditions are back, and they're causing slippery roads and a big spike in collisions across Windsor and Amherstburg, with police calling the number actually alarming. Joining me now to explain the details of what we know, number-wise, Travis Fernham.
Yeah, Stefanie, the numbers really do kind of speak for themselves on this one. In just 4 days, 127 crashes in Windsor and Amherstburg. Officers said many of those collisions could have been prevented with basic winter prep. The reminders are simple. Clear off all snow and ice, leave extra space, go easy on the brakes, and make sure your tires are ready for the season. Police say distracted or impaired driving only raises the risk, turning a small slip into a much bigger problem.
It was surprising to me for sure, but you know, with the first big snow of the season, I think people kind of, forget a little bit of, just take some time and pack some patience and slow down a little bit and be aware of the car in front of you, give some space. That's typical, I think, but 127 is quite a bit.
Police add the first snowfall always catches drivers off guard, but the chief is making clear no matter how bad the weather gets, drivers are responsible for maintaining control of their vehicle.
It's something that we deal with every single winter. Even I was walking down my driveway and practically slipped because I haven't put on salt yet. So if you haven't done any of that yet, get to it. Okay, Travis Fernham with our top story tonight. Thank you, Travis. And speaking of impaired driving, an OPP report shows Essex County as the region with the most impaired driving charges in the past 2 weeks. As the holiday season approaches, a reminder to be safe for your sake and the sake of others around you. Here's Bob Belichico.
The more you look, the more you find. And if you don't look, you won't find any. And that doesn't mean there's no impaired drivers.
The West Region OPP has been running ride checks across southwestern Ontario, and so far, they've laid nearly 100 driving charges.
People are still driving drunk. And what's the risk to the public? What's the risk to my family, yours, somebody's kids going to school and getting hit and killed by an impaired driver? So it's so sad.
In those results, Essex Detachment stood out, laying the most impaired driving charges in the region at 21. The next closest detachment had about half as many.
They don't think they're ever going to get caught. And then realistically, when you're impaired, you don't make good decisions. So when you're under the influence of drugs and alcohol, you're not going to make those good decisions, after your event.
Just days after helping launch 2 impaired driving prevention campaigns, Mad Windsor Essex County's Shauki Hamka says he was disappointed to see Essex leading the way for all the wrong reasons.
Yes, those numbers are a bit surprising, but at the same time, it's not realistic, unfortunately. People continue to choose to drive impaired. We don't have effective laws that, deter people from driving impaired. You get a slap on the wrist.
Is that a damnation of the people of Essex County because everybody's driving impaired? Or is it a reflection on good policing out there trying to find impaired drivers and get them off the road? It's sad that it's happening, but the police are finding them and getting them. So that's a good thing.
Hamka says new technology being developed may eventually help reduce these numbers.
In the U.S., they've been approved now to start putting technology in vehicles, impaired driving technology. So I think once Canada reaches that point, I think we'll see a lot less.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
This takes us to our question of the day. Do you think you're a safe driver? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked if you're worried about increasing food prices. Out of more than 1,300 votes, a whopping 93% of you say yes. Windsor Police has a new acting deputy chief. The Police Services Board has appointed Kenneth Cribley as acting deputy chief of operations effective Sunday. The role opened after Jason Crowley took over as chief from Jason Belair. It's expected to be roughly 6 months before a permanent deputy chief is named. Cribley has more than 31 years of service with Windsor Police, including experience in frontline operations, investigations, and professional standards.
I remember the very first day getting that phone call back in January 1994 that I was going to be a Windsor police officer, and feeling that pride then and having that same sense of pride over the years in the different ranks I've held. And leadership here matters to the men and women that work here, and as I've said, it's a responsibility I don't take lightly, and it's a real privilege.
The federal government is serving Stellantis a notice of default after the automaker shifted some of its production from Brampton to the United States. Stellantis announced in October it was moving planned production of its Jeep Compass from Brampton to Illinois. The move breaches federal contracts tied to manufacturing in Brampton and Windsor. The contract for federal funds for a Windsor battery plant included a job guarantee in Brampton. Windsor's new outdoor ice rink is now open in the heart of downtown, giving residents a fresh place to skate just steps away from City Hall. The City Hall Square ice rink held a soft launch today, ahead of a full grand opening next weekend. CTV's Chris Campbell joins me now with the details from the newsroom tonight. Chris.
Yes, Stephanie, the city says the rink is meant to bring more energy and more people into the downtown core. Today marked the very first skate on the new ice, but reactions off the ice were mixed.
I'm just jumping on the ice quick. I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Downtown Councillor Ronaldo Augustino wasted no time lacing up his skates this morning, becoming the very first person to test out the new City Hall Square ice rink.
You know, I travel with my skates for moments like this, and I saw the opportunity and I just jumped on.
The new ice rink replaces the old one at Charles Clark Square and creates a new winter hub in the heart of downtown.
I love it. It's amazing. The kids down here are going to be so excited, and you know, I cannot wait to see this place full of kids and people from other countries and our citizens, residents, people of downtown skating around. I can't wait.
Today's soft launch gave staff a chance to test the ice and equipment before next Saturday's full grand opening celebration.
We will have staff on site. We'll have the Zamboni running. We do ask people to be mindful that during this next week, you know, we may be periods where we have to shut things down as we just do any other little finishing touches around the site. But, you know, we're at a point now where it's safe and it's ready to skate.
Next weekend's celebration will feature live music, a DJ, Santa visits, free hot chocolate, fire tables, crafts, and free skate lending through All Saints Church. But people downtown today had mixed reactions to the new amenity.
I think it's very nice. It looks they did a really good job.
While many are feeling festive about the new space, others question whether the $15.5 million price tag could have been better spent.
There's a lot of problems in the city with homeless and everything else. I think spending that kind of money on a project that, I don't know. To me, it was a waste of money.
I think the homeless people needs help first before you decide to fix that.
Sometimes when you collect taxpayer dollars, it's nice to put them back into the community for the taxpayers to use.
The city says the rink adds another destination to a downtown already buzzing with holiday events and hopes it becomes a seasonal gathering spot for families.
Sounds like those who are coming down to the Santa Claus parade for tomorrow night can bring their skates and test out their skills.
Hours, rules, and updates are posted on the city's website. We've put a link to that with this story on our website, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Stephanie?
I'm looking forward to giving it a try. Okay, Chris Campbell tonight. Thank you, Chris. CTV weather specialist Rita Ismail joins me now. Rita, I cannot wait to get on the new ice rink and give it a try.
Well, Stephanie, you're in luck. The temperatures are certainly perfect for those outdoor skating rinks to just thrive this time of year. We had that polar air mass in place the last 24 to 48 hours. Now, we do have a brief warm up, but again, that's relatively speaking because it's going to remain at or near the freezing mark. A few clouds as we head into the night tonight. We had a fairly decent day across Windsor, Essex in terms of our outdoor conditions. Not a lot of moisture, but we are tracking a couple of weather makers. They're both weak low pressure systems. One will swing by overnight tonight, the other one just behind it. I'll tell you what that means for Windsor, Essex coming up a little later in the forecast, but for now, I'll send it back to you.
Over the last few days, we've experienced below seasonal temperatures, yesterday reaching a low of -16. So when will it be safe enough to pull out those skates and hit the ponds? One expert says not just yet.
Unless we are in solid below 0 Celsius temperatures, people shouldn't be wandering out on the ice. It's too early.
CAO of the Essex Region Conservation Authority, Tim Burney, says he understands people want to get out on the ice and take part in Canada's national pastime, but the timing isn't right. Ice needs to be at least 4 inches thick for walking and 4 to 6 inches for skating, playing sports, or ice fishing.
No one should ever assume ice is perfectly safe. It never is.
In 2021, emergency crews, including LaSalle's ice rescue team, were called after 4 teens fell through a pond at the Vollmer complex. One of the teams was completely submerged and taken to hospital for observation. If that ever happens, the Canadian Red Cross says first call for help. Resist the urge to climb out. Try to relax and catch your breath. Reach forward onto the broken ice without pushing down. Kick your legs to get your body horizontal, then crawl on your stomach or roll away from the open area. And remember, do not stand up.
Ice rots and loses its structural integrity quicker than it freezes.
So watch for changes in ice color. Blue ice is generally the strongest. White ice has air bubbles and is about half as strong. And black ice indicates it's starting to decay. And Bernie says if you have access to a backyard ice rink, that's your safest option.
It's a heck of a lot more safer.
Meanwhile, officials in Chatham-Kent say a person living in a recently built cabin for people experiencing homelessness has died. They say the person was found deceased inside their cabin on Thursday. Officials say the coroner could not determine an immediate cause of death. They say there's no evidence of foul play. And as these cold, frigid weather settles in ahead of the long winter ahead, a homeless center in Chatham has extended its hours. In November, Hope Haven in the city's core extended its hours to operate as an overnight warming center, while Chatham-Kent contends with a large growing homeless population. The center now opens from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. nightly and is also open daily from 10 a.m. in the morning to 2 p.m. Officials say a rising number of homeless people have come to rely on it as a place to recharge and warm up, hoping the kindness of the community can help carry them through the next several months ahead.
Always need help, always need donations. You know, we do get some support, but the support from the community is really what keeps us going at the end of the day. All the regular things that you think about, you know, that we're always out there crying that we need coffee, sugar, stuff like that. We also have to keep the lights on and the heat on, so monetary donations are always welcome.
In other news, Canada has long committed to procuring 88 U.S.-made F-35 fighter jets. But in light of lingering trade tensions and Sweden pledging up to 10,000 jobs if Canada purchased jets from them, the government has been reviewing its options. And new numbers from Nanos show what matters most to Canadians. CTV's Rachel Aiello has the details.
As the Canadian government contemplates following through on its procurement of Lockheed Martin's F-35s or diversifying the Air Force's fleet by also acquiring Swedish company Saab's Gripen E fighters, a Nano survey about procurement priorities is shedding new light on what Canadians think is most important. 40% said having the fighter jet that is the best solution. 28% said picking the jet that generates the most Canadian jobs. 18% said defense cooperation with Europe was the most important factor. Double the number of Canadians who said cooperation with the U.S. was key. And just 2% of those surveyed said the government should pick the lowest cost option.
What this shows is that if the government decides to change tact, it's actually going to have to explain why.
A recently leaked procurement document revealed the F-35 scored higher than the Gripen across a range of military and technical performance categories.
In your report and recommendations to the Prime Minister in this review, did you let him know that the F-35 beat the Gripen by a mile?
The review continues, and it will continue until it's complete. And I am quite sure that the kinds of metrics you're alluding to and referring to will find their way into the final report.
Experts say while the F-35 may be the better choice to maintain interoperability with the Americans, a diversified fleet compatible with more countries could also be to Canada's advantage. Even as critics suggest Saab's pledge to create 10,000 jobs in Canada is unrealistic.
There is no single best jet. It depends on the missions.
The defense minister hasn't committed to a deadline for when the government will decide what fighter jets will make up the fleet, replacing Canada's aging CF-18s. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
We want to hear from you. Do you have a comment or question, an idea for a great story? Text us at 10400. You can also send photos and video. Still ahead on Windsor's News Leader. As the world looks ahead to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Canada now knows who it will face off on home soil. And a seasonal caution about the risks of stretching your spending with buy now, pay later plans. Two founding members of Canada's Net Zero Advisory Board have resigned after accusing the Carney government of not seeking the group's advice on key policy decisions, namely the Alberta Energy Deal and Bill 5. The Net Zero Advisory Body was created in 2021 to help the Environment Minister set emission targets or change Canada's emission reduction plan. Former co-chair and co-founder announced his resignation on social media this week, saying it had become harder to run the Net Zero Advisory Body this year, with the government changing its climate priorities. New developments from the United Healthcare CEO shooting trial as Luigi Mangioni's lawyers are fighting to exclude some evidence. According to video and testimony from yesterday's hearing, Mangioni had been approached in a Pennsylvania McDonald's by police, and minutes later he said he didn't want to talk. Police continued asking questions and he continued answering, the video showed. Nearly 20 minutes passed before police informed him of his right to remain silent. Mangioni's lawyer argued that his statements aren't fair game for the trial because officers asked questions before reading his rights. Meantime, a judge is expected to rule in January on the fate of a 21-year-old man who's accused of killing his parents and grandmother. The man's mental health is at the heart of the case.
The 911 call was chilling. My son wants to kill me. Then the line cuts off. By the time police arrived, they found 19-year-old Arthur Galarneau covered in blood, screaming incoherently, "Go ahead, I'm done." Inside a duplex, police found the bodies of Galarneau's mother, Mylène Gingras, and next to her was his father, Richard Galarneau, and his grandmother, Francine Gingras-Boucher. All three had been stabbed a total of 200 times. Galarneau's trial was set to begin this week, but both the prosecution and the defense came to the conclusion that Galarneau should be found non-criminally responsible because he's schizophrenic and was likely going through a psychotic episode. Galarneau, who is now 21, first showed signs of schizophrenia at 16, and despite his family's attempt to provide the boy with mental health resources, his behavior became increasingly erratic until the day of the murder. The symptoms continued during his pretrial detention. This is all part of a psychiatric report that was filed in court. The prosecution's expert psychiatrist concludes Arthur Galarneau suffers from a psychiatric illness that prevented him from understanding that what he did was bad or wrong. Even if the Crown and the defense agree that Galarno should be found non-criminally responsible, it's ultimately the judge who has to make the final ruling. And in the case that he is remanded to a psychiatric hospital, the Crown will still demand that he be declared a high-risk offender to make sure he cannot reintegrate society. Stéphane Giroux, CTV News.
The eyes of the sports world were fixed on Washington, D.C. this afternoon as the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw took place. This year's tournament will be held in Canada, the U.S., and Mexico this summer. The draw determined the teams Canada will face in the opening group stage on home soil. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth is in Washington with more.
48 teams, 12 groups of 4. Switzerland and Qatar will battle Canada in Group B. The 4th team in Canada's group will be determined based on the winner of an upcoming pre-World Cup playoff.
Between Italy, Northern Ireland, Wales, Bosnia and Herzegovina.
As a host country, Canada automatically qualified for the World Cup and are ranked 27th in the world. With the complexion of their group competition taking shape, Canada now looks ahead to the World Cup, hoping to win a tournament game for the first time ever, and it won't be easy.
Well, obviously they got the toughest pot 4 team. We know that. We don't know who it's going to be, but thinking of it being a European team, and it could be Italy themselves, it makes it an extremely difficult game. But what an exciting match we're going to get in Toronto.
I think the highlight is absolutely Qatar.
Canada will play its first home match June 12th in Toronto before shifting to Vancouver for matches on June 18th and 24th. FIFA will unveil its full match schedule on Saturday, announcing all the games being played in Canada. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Washington.
The first in a series of online auctions to sell Hudson's Bay's treasured pieces has closed. A 1998 painting of snowshoers in the company's signature striped coats sold for $170,000. Other highlights include a 1945 painting Norman Wilkinson made depicting the Nonsuch, a merchant ship HBC used when it was a fur trading powerhouse. 52 vintage point blankets also attracted plenty of attention, with a single bidder dropping more than $27,000 on 7 of them. More pieces from the collection will be auctioned off next year. A massive deal has been reached in the entertainment world this morning. Streaming giant Netflix is taking over Warner Brothers Discovery for $72 billion U.S. The acquisition gives Netflix access to a vast film catalog and the prestigious streaming service HBO Max. It's the largest consolidation deal in the entertainment industry since Disney's multi-billion-dollar takeover of Fox in 2019. The Netflix deal is expected to attract a lot of scrutiny from competition regulators. The deal likely won't be finalized until 2027. Now, as many people cross items off of their holiday shopping list, they may be looking to stretch their dollars by taking part in buy now, pay later plans. The plans can be convenient, but if you sign up for too many of them at once, you could quickly snowball into unwanted debt. Here's CTV's Pat Foran.
You may be tempted to buy now and pay later. For Pamela Reyes, it seemed like a good way to stretch your budget.
A big portion of it was just convenience, being able to split the payments so I wouldn't have to take big hits to my bank account.
But it's very easy to lose track of buy now, pay later loans, especially when taking out more than one at a time.
The smaller ones kind of took me off because I forgot about them. If I'd been in paycheck to paycheck situation, that could have been kind of disastrous.
Consumer Reports found buy now, pay later can lead to overspending and sometimes debt.
With the cost of living, these little microloans might be tempting to turn to, especially if there might not be as much room in your budget.
Buy now, pay later missed payments can trigger higher than expected fees or interest, and missed payments may even show up on your credit report.
Some buy now, pay later lenders report missed or late payments to the credit bureaus, which could hurt your credit score, just like missing a credit card bill. That's why it's so important to stay on top of the loan payments.
When using these services, choose loans carefully and check if you will be charged fees or interest.
Avoid taking multiple loans out at once. And if you do, try to stick with the same company so you're not managing payments from different places.
Set reminders for due dates. That can help avoid missed payments or overdraft fees.
That's a dangerous trend that can really get people in a really difficult situation, and we're hoping to see a reduction in that and more awareness around these debt types.
And keep in mind, when it comes to returns, it's much easier to sort them out with a credit card. With Buy Now, Pay Later, refunds can take longer to process, and you may need to keep making payments until it's resolved. As for Reyes, she's decided to be more careful before using the plans.
If you could not afford to make the payment in one go, I would not even consider the Buy Now, Pay Later.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index was weighed down by losses in the technology sector. The TSX closed down 166 points, while the Dow gained 104. The Nasdaq is up 73. The Canadian dollar added almost half a cent today. On commodity markets, gold was unchanged and oil gained 41 cents a barrel.
Tonight's weather snapshot sent in from our viewer Mark Hewer. The Christmas lights are on full display. A brief warm-up for the weekend. We're expecting mostly cloudy conditions Saturday, but dry for the Santa Claus parade. The chance for some light snow and flurries is there on Sunday. Sunshine returns on Monday, but so does the cold air mass.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Rita joins me again for an extended look at the weather. Rita, as you know, the Santa Claus parade is tomorrow night. CTV will be there along with, I think, about 4 or 5 of the reporters, including myself. We are very excited, and we will be bundled up.
Well, you're in luck, Stephanie. We have mild temperatures for tomorrow in comparison to the cold air we've been dealing with for today. -2 our high. Overnight low, we dropped down to -16. That's right. That doesn't even factor in the wind chill. Normal this time of year, usually around 3 degrees for our daytime high, but we are nowhere near that. And then the record, that was 16 degrees in 2005. Record low -12. So we have actually broken that record low at -16 today. Now, as we head into the night, we have a few clouds in advance of a low pressure system that will push through around midnight. For us, that means cloud cover, some light dusting of snow possible, but most of that moisture staying to the northeast of us. So if you have travel plans early tomorrow morning, you could be dealing with some snow along the 401 corridor eastbound, but overall, not a lot with this first system. It's the winds in behind it for your Sunday. So tomorrow around 3 p.m., you could see most of that cloud cover pushing out. Calm conditions, which is great news for the fair, for the Santa Claus parade rather. And then of course that second system moving in early Sunday morning. This one will actually see a couple centimeters of snowfall push through Sunday between 9 and noon. And then again, the winds over Lake Huron, they'll pick up and it will be an issue in terms of travel if you are heading on the major roadways. This evening, -2. The winds have shifted. They'll be out of the southwest, 15 kilometers per hour. And then overnight feeling like -8. We'll wake up tomorrow morning, -4. Winds out of the west, 20 kilometers per hour. Again, that system moving through tomorrow morning, but we are not expecting a lot in the way of snowfall for us here in Windsor. We're expecting to hit 1 tomorrow afternoon, mostly cloudy conditions, and then heading into Sunday, that's when that secondary low pressure system moves through early Sunday morning. With that, we will be seeing some light flurry, some light snowfall, -1. Heading into Monday, the sunshine returns, which is a great way to start the week with that clear blue skies, but a cold one. -9 first thing Monday morning. The wind chill will be a factor again. And then struggling in terms of our temperatures Monday, -4. Another brief warm up comes our way Tuesday, Wednesday. Mostly cloudy conditions with some snowfall. Your 7-day forecast brought to you by Enercare, experts at home. We are expecting another deep freeze by this time next week, Stefanie, as we drop down to -6 for the daytime high and factor in the wind chill. It will feel close to -12 next Friday as a similar pattern sets up. Steph?
Lifetime, brought to you by Safeguard Medical Alert Systems.
A new program is being rolled out in Windsor to provide specialized support for children experiencing mental health crises.
These models really are effective. We wouldn't be standing here and government wouldn't be investing more money if that wasn't the case.
The provincial government has invested $247,000 to help create the Windsor Youth Crisis Response Team. The initiative will provide police with access to a dedicated youth social worker from the Regional Children's Centre at Hotel Dieu Grace Healthcare when responding to calls involving kids under the age of 16. The numbers support the need for the program as youth-related crisis calls and incidents continue to rise. The team builds on other local partnerships that pair police with healthcare professionals to better support people in crisis.
They're delivering services that we just didn't have in that real-time piece. So the model is working. In fact, this model is being mirrored in other communities.
This is really valuable because it keeps them out of the institutions, it keeps them out of the hospital beds, it keeps them at home with some supports. And based on our experience that we see at the RCC, 365 days a year, this would be a very value-added resource that will work both ways.
Support is pouring in for a 3-year-old golden retriever with medical problems abandoned by its owners at an off-leash dog park in Alberta. Veterinarians are now trying to get her ready for adoption. CTV's Tyson Fedor reports.
The Stoffertons both work at the Southern Alberta Veterinary Emergency Hospital in Okotoks. Lauren and Allison are now fostering Rhea. She was abandoned in an Okotoks dog park tied to a post with a coat, blanket, boots, and her seizure medication.
Like the natural human response to say, oh, how could somebody do that? But being a veterinarian, being in veterinary medicine, you come to learn that it's not just about the animals, the care.
A Good Samaritan then dropped off Rhea on Saturday at Save.
Knowing that she came in with seizure medication, we knew that she couldn't stay here overnight alone in the clinic because she just had medical risk.
Her owner left a note saying they were leaving the country and could not care for her any longer.
The owners did love her, did care for her. They were probably in a situation where they were, between a rock and a hard place. From what we do know, they did try to surrender her to at least 1 or 2 other rescues.
Rhea has health issues and been on anxiety and seizure medication. But the Stoffertons are hopeful to medically clear her in the next couple of weeks so she can be adopted to her forever home.
We had a lot of people who messaged us and said that they were immediately wanted to open their homes to her and wanted her to have a soft place to land. And I guess she's not the only dog who's going through something like this right now.
Paws for Change Rescue Foundation says there is an overpopulation issue and rescues are full. It says it receives anywhere from 50 to several hundred requests for intake weekly.
Rescues in Alberta and Western Canada and whole are dealing with basically a animal welfare crisis.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Okotoks.
Coming up, we're going to tell you why we're in Santa's secret warehouse.
And why you shouldn't try to take a bite out of this gingerbread house.
He's trying to get on that nice list.
Direct from Las Vegas, Holiday Dreams, a spectacular holiday show, is coming to Caesars Windsor Thursday, December 18th. Enter online at ctvwindsor.ca for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets plus a $200 gift card.
Turning now to our weekly segment, What's Up YQG with Johnny Parks from our sister station Virgin Radio and our own Melanie Kettner. You two are talking about the biggest Santa parade in the region this weekend.
Yeah, we're in Santa's secret warehouse, and Santa has, of course, been all over the place, and now he's back in Windsor. So, Johnny, did you make the nice list yet?
I've been trying, but then we snuck in here, so Santa might not be happy about that. We are here with Maggie from Windsor Parade Corporation. Can you tell us about this weekend?
Yes, we're very excited for the 58th annual Windsor Santa Claus Parade, stepping off at 6 p.m. this Saturday. More entries than we've had in a very long time, and we're super excited for that. Can't wait to hit the street.
And what kind of entertainment can people expect?
We have a load of diversified entertainment this year. We've got marching bands, we've got concert bands, we've got a brand new entry that's super exciting and really amazing to see, along with buskers and jugglers and beautiful floats.
Can you tell us a bit more about that new character?
That new character is called Bella Wings, and once you've seen it, it's a character with a wingspan of about 20 feet. They're luminescent, and it's not something you're going to forget soon.
That's even bigger than Johnny's wingspan.
Pretty close, yeah.
So what about the route? Where is the parade going?
The parade starts at Giles and Olette, heads north on Olette to Pitt Street, and that's where it concludes.
Yeah, we love it. I can't wait to go to the parade. It's going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of stuff downtown. A few other events going on this weekend. What else is there, Johnny?
Yeah, Caesar is going to have Our Lady Peace playing on the Coliseum stage on Friday. And then Sean Desmond has an all-ages show on Saturday.
Amazing. And I think there's also something at the Willisted Manor this weekend.
Yeah, they've got their tours going on, but you can also get breakfast with Santa because he's just everywhere.
Wow, see, so you can meet Santa at the parade or at Willisted. We've got everything and all the links online, and that's What's Up YQG.
Former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and pop star Katy Perry have made no secret of the fact that they're now dating, but a new photo is providing a new hint at where the relationship may stand. The couple was spotted in Japan earlier in the week, and today the former Japanese MP shared a photo of their lunch. He and his wife shared with the couple. Trudeau posted afterwards saying, "In part, great to see you. Katy and I were so glad to have the chance to sit down with you and Yuko." People magazine says this marks the first time Kerry has joined the Trudeau in a political capacity. Cans for a Cause is back for its 22nd year.
Join us as we broadcast live from Devonshire Mall.
We'll be collecting cash and non-perishable food items for the Society of St. Vincent de Paul.
We need your help, generosity, and goodwill.
Visit us online for more information.
This is your CTV Windsor, our community calendar. Sparky's Toy Drive is back. Purchase a new unwrapped toy to donate and drop it off at any local fire hall. Find the holiday spirit with Sparky's. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Travis Fortnum. Travis, I feel a little bit better. I had some water, I had a few more little coughs, so I'm good to go.
Good. Just don't get me sick.
I know. I promise I won't. So we are talking about a professional wrestling fans. It's a big day in Chatham for this.
Yeah, and there are many professional wrestling fans around here in our own newsroom, as you know. Windsor Essex has no shortage of professional wrestling history, and up the road in Chatham-Kent, more is going to be made. That's because on Saturday, former WWE superstar Chris Masters will headline NCG Wrestling's final event of 2025. It's called Mall Brawl, and it's taking place inside 100 King. That's the new name for the mall, which in recent years has sat mostly empty. Redevelopment began last year, marking the start of a complete transformation of the property. We've got details on how renovations at the mall are going on our website, ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And Travis, we also have a story online about a theft investigation, again, sticking with Chatham-Kent.
Yeah, Chatham theme tonight. Chatham-Kent police are asking for help identifying a man after a theft at a local business. Police say a man entered a business on Pioneer Line on November 3rd. A few minutes later, the suspect was seen loading merchandise onto the cart. Police say the suspect bypassed all points of sale and exited the store without making any attempt to pay for the the items. Anyone with information can contact police or Crime Stoppers. And in our social spotlight, a masked bandit, now we've got a robbery theme here. A masked bandit went on a rampage through a liquor store in Virginia. The Virginia Alcoholic Beverage Control Authority released video of a raccoon roaming the aisles and shelves of the store in Ashland. When employees arrived at work the next day, they found shattered whiskey bottles on the floor, and the raccoon passed out in the bathroom.
Yeah, it wouldn't take too long to get a little bit of alcohol in his system.
I want to hear his side of the story.
Exactly. There's two sides of the story, and then there's the truth.
Exactly.
So,
how do we know he didn't pay in raccoon currency?
Exactly. That never crossed my mind. Thank you for bringing that to light.
Have you seen the picture, though? This picture of him passed out on the bathroom floor is going around. It's actually very funny.
A meme with all different sayings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's super cute. If anyone at home has funny surveillance video that they want to send to
your
us.
doorbell cameras might catch something funny sometimes. If you do have something like that, you can send us to us over email at newsnow@bellmedia.ca, or you can text it to us at 10400.
Okay, that's happening now. Thank you, Travis. From Blue Jays fever to the most asked question of the year, Google Canada reveals what Canadians searched for most in 2025. Rita joins us one last time now. Rita, I know we're getting that brief warm up there, but as long as you're bundled up properly, you can head outside.
Absolutely great advice. Always bundle up, especially if you're heading out tonight. Our temperature will drop overnight, but not nearly where it was early this morning. Now, we just mentioned that brief warm up for tomorrow, which is great news for all those Santa Claus parade goers. We are expecting to hit a daytime high at the 1 degree mark. Dry conditions mostly for Saturday. Both of these systems that are pushing through will be overnight, early morning hours. So by the time that parade comes through, it'll be nice and dry. Sunday, chance for flurries and that active weather in terms of snowfall. Monday, plenty of sunshine, but that cold air mass returns right back into play. Your 7-day forecast is brought to you by Enercare experts at home. So -4 on Monday, that's the high. Then we drop back down to the freezing mark, or rather climb up to the freezing mark under snowy conditions. And then we're back and forth. It really is a roller coaster ride in terms of our temperatures for the next 7 days as we warm up and then drop back down a week from today to -6, with the wind chill feeling like -12. Stefanie?
Okay, thank you, Rita. Now, Travis, I want to talk about one of the hot topics, at least in the last month or so, those blue bins, which will be starting in the new year.
It's pretty interesting how big of a topic this is. But yeah, mainly everyone's talking about how big they are, right? And how difficult that will be for older folks or people who have long driveways out in the county and such. So there's been a lot of talk about how we could possibly get smaller bins here in Windsor-Essex with this starting in the new year. Well, the company behind the recycling program is offering some help for folks in our region on that front. Tonight at 11, the details on how you might be able to downsize your bin.
Okay, now like I said, that was one of the top stories here the last few months. Let's move it over a bit. As the year draws to a close, Google Canada is revealing what you searched for in 2025, from the moments that made headlines to public figures who took the center stage. CTV's John Valley-Rao brings us the trends and more on what captured Canada's imagination.
When it comes to summing up the year that's gone by, what better to look at than the things Canadians Googled in 2025? And one subject came up more than any other: the Blue Jays, who gave us some of the year's most memorable moments, including this Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Grand Slam against New York. And in the category of news and events, these two words were the year's most looked up, followed by Canadian election results, Iran, LA fires, and the Charlie Kirk shooting. As for the person Googled the most, Mark Carney topped the list.
This was an election year, and Canadians were following the election every step of the way.
Serial killer Ed Gein came in second. He was the subject of a Netflix true crime series. When it comes to athletes, 4 of the top 5 Googled were Blue Jays, including rookie Trey Savage, and rounding out the list, Canadian tennis star Victoria Mboko, who at age 18 won the National Bank Open in Montreal. As for searches, starting with what, among the most popular were, what does elbows up mean? What time is the Jays game today? And what does 6-7 mean? A meme that caught on fast with kids and has no fixed meaning, part of its appeal. The top why questions: why is Canada Post on strike? Why did Trudeau resign? And why do baseball players spit? When it comes to the top searched word in pop culture, it was La Boo Boo, a line of plush toys that went viral, followed by Bianca Censori's Grammy dress.
My name is Happy Gilmore.
Well, the top searched movie was Happy Gilmore 2. And the most Googled song, Golden, from the animated musical K-pop Demon Hunters. A year that had its golden moments as we count down the final weeks to 2026. John Benavalli Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Since John there just finished on K-pop Demon Hunters, Travis, I've now watched the movie several times. The soundtrack is repeat. It's insane how many children, even though it's like not a children's movie, are into it. But like the soundtrack is absolutely amazing, and it's a massive, massive hit that was unexpected.
Yeah, that's why everyone's Googling it, right? I mean, that's been huge. It's people were dressing up as if for Halloween, and I guess it's carrying us through to the end of the year too.
Yes,
so.
But I also love the elbows up. I love the 6-7 with which we addressed. Now we also have our top stories of the year. We have a special show that will be airing on December 26th, so definitely tune in for that.
Yeah, you'll have to.
Okay, on behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca. I will be back with your only late local newscast tonight at 11.
Good night.